Good call to the member for Menzies.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Energy and Climate Change. How is the Albanese Labor government getting on with the job of delivering its clear and consistent climate and energy policy agenda? How does this compare with other approaches to energy policy?
Call to the Minister for Climate Change and Energy.
I thank the member for Menzies for his question, and I'll get straight to the point. 38,921, Mr Speaker. That's how many cheaper home batteries have been installed in Australia since July 1. That's how Australians respond to clear policy direction from the Australian government, and regional Australians in particular. I told the House yesterday I think that the member for Gilmore has the biggest take-up in New South Wales, the member for Indi has the biggest take-up in Victoria, the member for Wright has the biggest take-up in Queensland, the member for Canning has the biggest take-up in Western Australia, getting on with the job of the transition to net zero, and the member for Mayo has the biggest take-up in South Australia, and in fact the biggest take-up in Australia does the member for Mayo of cheaper home batteries. Now, this is, as I said, how Australians respond to clear policies, and the honourable member asked me if there's any alternative approaches. I'm glad he used the plural. I think that was a very well-worded question, because we are replete with alternative approaches from those opposite, and that's just the leadership group. Within the leadership group, we are replete with alternative approaches to the question of climate change. We saw in the Liberal and National Party room this morning a push to get straight to abolishing net zero. Senator Canavan said they shouldn't wait for the Canavan review. He wants to get straight on to abolishing their support for net zero. He said on Sky News last night that net zero is, and I quote, a great socialist plan. He is on to us. It's about time somebody stood up to those socialists in the Morrison-Joyce government who embarked on the policy of net zero. I'll convene an urgent meeting of the Socialists International to discuss this matter. We're just waiting on the availability of Boris Johnson and Theresa May, Friedrich Merz and Angela Merkel, and the two-thirds of Australian companies who are dedicated to net zero, Mr Speaker. We're waiting on their availability, then we'll have a meeting. And in the Liberal Party room, the leader of the Liberal Party in the Senate said there's no time to waste to abolish net zero. I saw it on Sky News. It must be true. You shouldn't deny it. It's on Sky News all day that Senator Cash has led this charge, trying to keep up with the leader of the National Party who went to the conference on the weekend to undermine the leader of the Liberal Party, who said they're out of the coalition unless they have their way. You know, Mr Speaker, what we have is two parties, one coalition, and many, many ways of killing net zero. And all that leads to net zero plan for the future of Australia. Net zero plan for Australia's regions who are relying on the Australian government to deal with the challenges of climate change and the impacts of drought and flood. Net zero plan for Australians who need the jobs of the future to be created by a sensible plan to achieve net zero, which the Morrison-Joyce government once believed in. That's the replete alternatives we have from those opposite. Meanwhile, the Albanese government and Australian households, 38,921 of them, get on with the job.
Call the Prime Minister.
I ask that further questions be placed on the notice paper.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Politics Unplugged, where we dive deep into the wild world of Aussie politics with a fresh twist. Today, we're breaking down a fiery exchange from Question Time in Parliament that had everyone buzzing about Australia's energy future. Picture this. The member for Menzies kicks things off with a cheeky question to the Minister for Energy and Climate Change, Chris Bowen, asking how the Albanese Labor government is smashing its climate and energy goals, and how it stacks up against the chaotic alternatives from the other side. Bowen doesn't hold back. He drops a killer stat. Since July 1st, a whopping 38,921 affordable home batteries have been installed across the country, with regional Aussies leading the charge. He shouts out MPs like those from Gilmore, Indi, Wright, Canning, and especially Mayo for topping the charts in their states, proving that clear, consistent policies get real results in the push toward net zero emissions. But here's where it gets juicy and a bit hilarious. Bowen roasts the opposition for their replete, alternative approaches, basically a mess of conflicting ideas even within their own leadership. He mocks Senator Matt Canavan's call to ditch net zero altogether, calling it a great socialist plan, straight out of the Morrison-Joyce era, and jokes about convening a socialist international with global leaders like Boris Johnson and Angela Merkel, who all back similar goals. Then there's the drama in the liberal national rooms, pushes to abolish net zero ASAP, Sky News soundbites from Senator Cash, and threats from the Nationals leader to bail on the coalition if they don't get their way. Bowen paints it as two parties in one shaky alliance with zero unified plan, just endless ways to kill off net zero, leaving Aussies high and dry on jobs, regional resilience against droughts and floods, and a solid path to the future. In essence, this clip highlights Labour's steady hand on the wheel, delivering tangible wins like those batteries, versus the opposition's internal circus that's stalling progress. It's a reminder that in the climate game, consistency wins over confusion every time. If you love this breakdown and want more unfiltered takes on politics that feel real and raw, hit that subscribe button right now, turn on notifications, and join our community of savvy viewers. Drop a like if you're all in for net zero, and comment below, what's your take on Australia's energy transition? Let's keep the conversation going. See you in the next one.